Hello. Today in my paper I will be talking about Damballa, which is specifically a Loa from Haitian Vodou. Now, in order to understand this spirit, you must first understand how Haitian Vodou came to be, as it is an aggregate religion both from indigenous African religions and Western traditions from when Haitians were taken to places like Cuba and in the Caribbean as slaves. They continued to practice their old religion, however they had to change it due to the fact that the Europeans who had enslaved them at the time wanted them only to worship their more Protestant gods, which means they weren't allowed to worship their own gods anymore because those were bad and heathen, obviously. So, at first it started as a secret way to practice their own religion, but eventually evolved into its own thing, which is why Vodou today is such a hybridization of things and is quite open to adopting other ideas, as it itself is a hybrid idea from the beginning. Damballa is specifically a serpent deity from this religion. He is unique. He is one of the few Loa that do not have a human appearance, and one of two that don't actually vocalize. They're a mute deity, as he communicates mainly by hissing or repeating the ke sound. It is an interesting deity for him because his wife, called Wedo, is the spirit of the rainbow, and he himself is the spirit of the river. And a river and rainbow are often seen together in the symbols, known as Damballa Wedo, in which he functions sort of as a dual deity, not quite one but not quite the other. The fact that he's a serpent echoes the primalness of him, the fact that he is more close to the earth physically and spiritually than the rest of the deities. He has a power that they don't have, and this allows him, even in his petro or hot form, as Damballa la Famouige, or the torch Damballa, to be able to do things that other Loa might not be able to. So, he is a common deity, and he is one of the more popular in Haiti. Even though he's a serpent, he's more associated with constrictors than vipers, specifically pythons. And this is interesting because pythons are one of the more docile of snakes. They don't really react to much. Most of them are rather lazy and just enjoy lying in the sun. However, when they need to accomplish something, they could move with surprising quickness, and this kind of echoes that of the spirit itself. Rivers can be lazy and slow, but if one tries to dam it up, it can break down the dam and come out in an onrush of water. Now, the other thing about Damballa is his favorite food is the egg, and unlike other spirits where the food is simply presented to them, the spirit usually either accepts, eats it, or blesses it and then tries to give it back to the congregation. Damballa has to feed in secret, so a veil is placed over his head while he eats his foods and offerings in return for his favors. He also, being a snake, can't stand on 2 feet. So people possessed by Damballa usually fall to the floor and start wriggling like a snake. This presents an interesting challenge in their interpretation of his message, as unlike the other deities, he does not just straight out say them, and unlike El Zelaidonto, the other mute deity, who only stutters as if in a rage, he can't even really do hand motions, as snakes have no hands. So, is partly the interpretation of the wriggling and the hisses you have to go on, which leads to some misinterpretations more than other deities, but kind of goes in line with him how spirits are not completely of this world, but they're not completely beyond the world either. They have to exist in it and abide by its own rules. So I hope you'll enjoy my paper and find it an interesting read. Thank you.